Hey everybody, it's time to set the record straight. Um, Obviously, you know that I have been posting some things, and most people have been tremendously helpful in their reaching out and have been a great source of comfort. Um, Many people I didn't even expect to hear from. So I appreciate everybody, and I'm sorry that I have limited energy. Like this has affected me physically. I'm tighter. My body's tighter. I mean, and I'm not tighter like I think that was an old way to say you're cheap or you ran out of money. I might be cheap and have run out of money, but no. So but a couple of people are just really forceful with their opinions. Like, oh well, if one thinks the way I do, they must be ill. They must access our mental health services. I'm going to tell you, I have never needed mental health services. Actually, that's not true. As a kid, I saw a couple counselors, and I learned what that was about. And yes, when 2 years ago I did have psychosis, I needed some medical help, but I didn't need therapy. I needed to get some medication that would finally, once and for all, solve my sleeping disorder, and it has. And there were many stressors, but the sleep deprivation more than all is what causes psychosis. I am not having sleep deprivation now. Okay, so I I have a certain belief that if somebody decides that they don't want to be around. You don't have the right to go hurting people. You don't you don't do what that dentist did. You don't go shoot up a mall. You don't touch a hair on anybody's head, right? Because then you're fucking with their autonomy. Okay, but somebody's own autonomy. If they have decided, that they just are fundamentally at odds or enough at odds with the world to not want to be in it. I think that's okay. I think things you could say is like, hey, please try to hang on for a bit because, time comes to change. Your opinion might change. That's reasonable. That's not an unreasonable request. But what is unreasonable to me, and especially, and most of the difficulty I found was coming from people I don't know. And forgive me, like, maybe you've lost folks to suicide and stuff like that, and you know how painful it was. And yeah, I mean, you certainly have a right to be upset. And I think one of the questions was like, well, how would I feel if I saw my friends posting, what I was posting? And the answer is, yeah, I'd be upset. I'd I'd try to reach out, but I would not take over somebody, or would not question someone's autonomy over their own existence. Maybe caution them to wait. A very good thing, I think, when people are depressed, and this is what I learned. I never was able to put it into action until I was 22, but that's 15 years ago now, right? And a longtime comic who I don't know very well. He had this answer, and that was, that a life must be imbued with purpose. I think imbued was my word, but he found the purpose was what helped him the most. You do comedy and you do these things, and right. And I think that is absolutely the right answer, because to me a life without purpose, how could you not be miserable, right? But then when one does imbue their life with purpose and lives that pretty highly, like, not that I'm firing 100% on all pistons every day, doing my like absolute best work, working to the bone, and saving the world with every brushstroke or something, but in general, if one has found a purpose, and still feels this way, and by the way, is interested in continuing to live their purpose. As long as I'm not saying no, I've given up with all this, and I'm not writing, or I'm not, just I'm doing nothing. I'm going to waste. I'm still reading 2 books a day, or 2 books at a time, rather, not 2 books a day. That's then I would have no purpose but reading books, wouldn't I? But my chess game is off the hook. I'm doing really well in many ways. 2020 was my most productive creative year. In many ways, the pandemic has, at least thus far, knock on the real wood here, has affected me less than has affected most people. And I'm very grateful for that. I am very grateful for that. But I just, like, I don't know, because and maybe it's that people are trying to be helpful, these couple that I'm having a little odds with here, but it really feels like aggression, and it feels like judgment, and it feels like, hey, well, this is what you have, if you feel this way, this is what you have to do. And no, they would, and it's like, no, I would never. That's the thing. If I would never tell anybody, you know, I mean, yes, if you're going around shooting people, you can't do that. Or, if you're real, like, if you're touching people inappropriately, or, if you're doing stuff that's, or like you're being an asshole like every step of the way with everybody, and you're really just like, putting them down and treating them bad and everything, then yes, I would tell. I've seen people be rude to servers, and you never catch me being rude to a server unless the server starts getting rude with me. I remember, you guys remember Lion and Bright? Um, I remember the waiter, server. They were like number whatever, and I missed it the first time, and I was like, oh yeah, the second time, number 8, that's me. And they like slammed the plate down, like slammed, like, might have been a bad day, but all I did was miss my plate, you know, and missed my call, and I think I just walked out. I just, because you can't treat people like that. So I'm a big, you know proponent of respect, and I hope people, I don't agree sometimes. I have, very different slants on things, but I don't, once in a while, if an issue really takes me or something like that, I'll post something. But like, I don't want this. I don't want to be contradicted. Like, you can. It is cool with me that you think differently about. You may think that, someone in my position needs mental health services or whatever, but no, I'm open to friends and family, and I'm open to, you know celebrating life as much as I can. It's not like I'm not depressed, guys. It's not that. It's that, I'm feeling a way that I am about some things, and I need the time to process this in my way that is helpful for me. Do you guys know what happens, like, with psychosis? So the first time I'm in there, being, I guess this was the outpatient's time, and the very first meeting with the therapist, there's some students and stuff like that, but there's about 12 of them in there, like, literally, like, 12 therapists, and then it petered down to like one or two. And and it almost should work like the other way around, because it's like, oh, are you comfortable with this process now? Can we bring some others in with you? Is that okay? Can we, and but instead, the first time you're doing this, one, at least I was confronted with more strangers in the multitude, and strangers are not good for me. Like, I don't know, like, you guys, you see me in public, I'm usually reading a book. I'm not. I'm chatty with a few cats, but I'm mostly inward, and that's not. that's not to that I mean to be mean to people, but I just I spend most of my life alone. You know, I want to be alone most of the time. I don't want to be alone all the time. I'm not a hermit. You know, I'm not. But for somebody who is solitary and prefers to be solitary and really needs, not not a lot of noise, not a lot of night light, not a lot of sunlight's great, but like artificial light. No bright lights, no bright noise, no crowds. You know, you're best to just and I and perhaps maybe I shouldn't have made those posts and things, but not being a performing artist as I am, and not having access to stages as regularly. Although even up till right now, I was get pretty lucky with that, and I think I was doing pretty good. Not perfect, right? But I think I was coming up with some pretty cool shit. You know, and use youngsters. Too, I was seeing some real promise, some youngsters, and was curious and interested to see the new slants, some of the old wily cats like me were have been coming up with. People are doing a good job in their performances. I'm very proud of them to say. So I know this is all over the place and everything, but that's the way I'm not how to write this. Um, so just please allow people to have their own reactions to things and life and everything, and except if it goes around to bothering other people. People are pulling knives on you, or just that kind of stuff. But if it's a person's take on their own autonomy and their own life, and the way that they feel deeply and profoundly, and that insult and disgust has pervaded their soul, and that's it. Like some of you don't believe in souls. I know people here that are staunch atheists and will argue with you till you're blue in the face that there's no God. But here's the thing, and I personally do believe in God, but I'm not concerned about convincing anybody else that it is the case. I'm not concerned, like, and it seems that there's a lot of um, just people wanting to make other people believe what they do, and approach things the way they do. I don't think there needs to be any God debate, right? Where the debate needs to lie is on what are the right things to do on planet Earth in a particular scenario. And those each scenario is a little different. My scenario is extremely different, and not that I suffer, and not that I have, you know, the worst life of all time. It's certainly not the case. I have a lot of really good things in my life, right? But I am unique. I trust you that or trust me that I don't remind you of anybody. There's nobody that is like me. My views are not common. I don't jump on the bandwagon. I think that's a lot of problem of what's going on in today's time, is that people get on one side of an issue, and then there's the other side of an issue, and it's like it's all one way, and if you don't believe this, you're wrong, or you're a bad person, you're this or that, when in actual fact a great many of the issues have a multitude of angles. Not everything. Some things are cut and dry. Like, yes, the police should not be killing black people, right? That one ain't up for debate. I'm not saying every little thing is fucking, but a lot of this shit, like COVID, like what do we know for sure? For sure, right? So, given that, we should be careful because we don't know anything for sure. That's what I say. And people fire back and say, well, scientists said this, so that is certain. But then, like an anti-mask fire back and say, well, this study. But you see what I mean? See how it's so complicated that um it's not a good idea to be um dogmatic. Yeah, dogmatism. That's what's going on. There's a ton of dogmatism And life is a plethora of things, and I am calling for, you know, a real tolerance to difference that is not harmful to anybody. Yeah, I'm not saying, we should tolerate a difference that's, is a Nazi, that goes around and, somebody says white power. Something. No tolerance for that, but tolerance for unique angles on things that are very personal and very deep for some folks, and know that for me, speaking, writing, communicating, art, interacting with the people that I feel comfortable interacting with and sharing myself intimately with is is the best, um, is the best thing. And again, if it is a depression issue that you're dealing with, yes, by all means, imbue your life with purpose. Find a purpose and take some time if you don't know what that is. And what I mean by purpose is you need to find something that you enjoy that also is like developing a skill. Like it could be that maybe you want to help people. So right now you want to be working with COVID patients on the front line. Such a brave and noble thing to do, and that has tremendous purpose and social value. Probably a great deal more social value than what I have because I'm just talking, right? I'm just wanting to get ideas across. But that's what I have to do for me. That's my way, and my way ain't wrong. My way ain't hurting nobody, you know? I'm just I'm just coming from where I'm coming from. And I hope that even if you disagree or like you don't like me or like whatever the fuck, right? Just just respect that I got a different slant, and believe you me, it is a very carefully thought and very deeply felt one. So just do your best to give me the respect that I try to give you, okay? All right. Adios.